Hello and welcome to another edition of Capital Area Chats. I'm your host, Paul Brogan, and we're about all things in the greater Concord region. The people, the places, the things that make this a great place to live, to work, and to play. Today's show, I have two guests, and then by the end of this, we will have proved that indeed there is no business like show business. I won't do my Ethel Merman imitation as the microphone is sensitive. However, I have two amazing guests with us today, and I look forward to talking to them about the summer season for RB Productions, which is marking its 21st anniversary this year. I'll start with my first guest, Ellen. Ellen was a guest a year ago where we talked about the production she directed, Mary Poppins Jr.
Yeah.
And I want to be on the record of saying I was mesmerized.
Oh,
I
so glad.
loved it. I didn't know what to expect going in, and I wasn't really sure, but I was, immediately drawn into it. The cast were amazing. Of course, the music is familiar to people, but the staging was so beautifully done. It just transported the audience. And I looked around several times at people's faces as they were watching it, and they were just enthralled. It was so amazing to see that. So.
Thank you.
Ellen is by day a grants writer for the Concord School District, but she is directing a production this summer, and the production goes on July 19th and 20th, and it is The Little Mermaid Jr.
Yes.
Anyone familiar with the 1989 film,
Yes.
is it?
Yep.
And then, of course, the live action that came later on has to come and see the RB production take on this beloved story, because it really is going to be terrific.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. Really familiar music. I think it'll be really fun.
Wonderful. And before we get back to that, I want to introduce my other guest, who is really Mr. Theater in Concord, because his career, both at Concord High School, I've seen a number of your productions over the years, and they are nothing short of brilliant. Clint Klose brings a real talent and skill. You've done for Concord High drama what Bob Stewart did years ago at Bishop Brady. Truly. I was fortunate enough to be at Brady when Bob was there, but you have brought together so many talented individuals at Concord High School. And of course, you've been associated with RB Productions since 2008, is it?
2003.
Oh, since the beginning.
Yes.
But you took over in 2008, correct?
Yes.
When the founder left, and you continued and have made it even better because you brought to it your enthusiasm. And I think it's really now become, RB is something that people look forward to all year. And they know if they have family visiting in the summertime, oh, come this week or this week and we'll take you to see, the RB productions at the Capitol Center for the Arts, which is a great place to see them. So.
Yeah, well, thank you, first of all, for having us.
Yeah.
Gives us a chance to, get out of the theater or get out of the school district just a little bit.
Yes.
But it also gives us a chance to just highlight what the great work all of our participants are doing and our staff continues to do. We feel that after 21 years, we're still learning. We're still trying to better our company, better ourselves. But we also know that we also feel that Concord is ripe for, and families really enjoy the aspect that we are able to offer, because let's be honest, there's a lot of theater companies out there.
There are.
And we begin our registration process in January. And I believe last year the record, when we opened up the registration for Adam's Family, they all sold out in 30 seconds. So, so there is a need, there's a demand, and interestingly enough, we also, sometime probably this fall, are going to be sharing some, I'll just call it, would you call it remarkably insightful and exciting and
some news about growth.
Some great news about the growth of our company.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
So
It's
stay
wonderful.
tuned on that.
Yes.
Well, what I love about it is, because when I was growing up in the dark ages, before electricity, but there were not opportunities for younger people beyond, if you were fortunate enough in high school to have a good drama program. But beyond that, there wasn't a great deal. Of course, if the community players did a production like King and I or Music Man, there were opportunities. But there was no set program that you could look forward to and focus your energy to see whether it was something you truly wanted to maybe do with your life. And I know that a number of people from RB as well as from Concord High have gone on to pursue professional careers, and they always credit what they learned at that age and at that level with giving them the motivation to believe that they could actually go and do it and not just, dabble in it along the way. Right. So.
Yeah, I think we really meet students kind of where they're at. So we've got beginning students who are just they like singing and dancing for their families at home, and they're maybe, 6 years old and they just want to try it out, and then they fall in love with it. And then we have seniors in high school who are maybe part of the CRTC program here as well. They know that they're going to be going to a conservatory or something like that. And so we run the gamut, and we have something for everyone. It's a super fast-paced environment, so they kind of learn that,
because the rehearsal period is about how long?
It's a week, aside from our teen show.
5 days.
It's 5 days. Yeah.
Wow.
So students really they receive their materials all ahead of time after we audition, and work a little bit, on their own. But we really hit the ground running Monday morning. We do, music and all that after a little tour of the Capitol Center, which is just an incredible space for young people to get to perform.
Yes. Yes.
So, but yeah, we hit the ground running and do some choreography, and there's really no rest for the weary. They're always moving, doing something, trying on costumes,
and they also learn discipline too, because which is wonderful no matter what you're doing. I mean, if you learn that discipline and you have a set period of time and you have to get all of the components together, that really puts a pressure on, but that's a good thing, because later in life you're going to have to have a certain discipline and ability. So,
absolutely.
Wow.
It's probably also worth mentioning we're a little non-traditional when it comes to what everyone else is doing. We don't actually audition to get in. It's a first come, first serve.
Oh.
And we pride ourselves on taking people where they're at and elevating every single person, no matter where you happen to be at. But on a little side note, if I were in charge of the world, I would probably put a lot of theater people in charge, because they know how to work and collaborate. They know how to work on a very stringent and tight budget, and they know how to accomplish things.
Yes, yes.
Those are the
Great
life
project
skills,
managers.
no matter what area you want to go in, whether it's the performing arts, you name it. You can take those skills, even just interpersonal skills, and coming out of your there's so many things that can translate to no matter what profession you happen to go into.
Yes. So true, so true.
Critical thinking. Of course, we're an educational company, so that's really important to us that, when we're doing, if there's source material, we will ask kids to, look at that, watch that, read the book. I always tend to choose the show that has some kind of a book, I guess, associated with it. Or in this case, I, sent out the Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes.
Or I was like, read this translation, just to give students a sense of this story, this myth, it did not just start with you, and it's not going to end with you. You get to be a piece of it, but looking at it kind of from that, the stories, how it's been manifested, I guess, in the world is really cool that they get to be a part of that, but they should know where it comes from.
So true, so true. And you have such a great, diverse season. You really have something for everyone. I mean, you have Mean Girls, the high school edition, starting out the season on July 5th and 6th. Then you have Willy Wonka Jr., and I'm sure with the film Wonka last year, this will generate a lot of people wanting to come to see that.
Absolutely.
And it's just one of those beloved stories.
Yes.
I mean, it really, just touches the heart. And yet there's a little undercurrent, there's a little darkness. It's not goody two-shoes kind of thing, which is what makes it so fascinating. Then Finding Nemo is going to be...
And that's our youngest
little kid
performers.
show.
Is it?
Ages 5 to 10.
And that will be fantastic.
And then Little Mermaid, your
Little Mermaid.
production,
Yep.
and you end the season with Rock of Ages,
Yes.
the youth edition.
And that's new
something
for
totally
RB.
different.
Yeah, we've never done this show before, and we're excited.
You figure, Nemo we've never done, Mean Girls we've never done, Rock of Ages. We have a little tradition that we do at the end of every season where we send out a survey to all of our families
Yes.
and ask them to, what would your children like to, it's the smart way I feel to do it, because then we know they're going to sign up for it, and we're going to have full, robust. So we have, I want to say, about 180 children who
Wow.
participate in all. Some do multiple shows, but I believe it's 180 students who participate in our shows. It's really remarkable.
Oh, that's wonderful. That is
So I think Rock of
truly-
Ages will be great for all of the parents who were raised in the 80s.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes.
So I don't know if that, they're just, they're trying to get their kids exposed to all that 80s rock and roll.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Though. What a great season.
Yeah, very
Now,
diverse.
tickets, you can go to the RB Productions site on.
Yep.
We're going to have the information. We're going to flash it. during
Fantastic. And that
the
links
show,
right
but-
to the Capitol
Capitol
Center.
Center.
To the
And we
Cap-
will say there have been some like
Warning.
third-party scams, so make sure that if you're buying tickets, you're buying
Yes,
directly
through
from
them,
the
from the Capitol Center. I know sometimes it goes on buy tickets for the Capitol Center,
Yeah.
Yes.
but when you look, it's not the
Right.
Capitol Center site.
CCANH.com.
Yes.
That's what you want.
And tickets are available right now as of
Yeah.
the time we're recording
Yes.
this. So
Yes.
good, but I'm sure they will go quickly.
Yeah, yeah. We actually have been able to, through a generous Rotary Club sponsorship, we got a grant this
Rotary.
year, and we also had some funding through a preschool development grant. So we've been able to give elementary schools and primary schools in the region some tickets to come see our shows.
Oh,
comp
great.
tickets.
Yes.
And again, that like really aligns with our educational mission. We
Mhm.
want to get students who may not otherwise have a chance to see live theater, a chance to come see in this beautiful space and see some of maybe even their peers performing and maybe catch the theater bug a little bit. So.
Uh-huh. That's great. And when you start people young, I mean, the future of the theater depends on getting people interested. I mean, I've watched opera sort of fall by the wayside. I mean, when I was growing up, it was the Capitol Theater, but the Guile concerts would bring operas, and people would be turned away. I mean, they would fill that place in no time at all, and there'd be hundreds more that would have come. And the same with ballet. And I noticed that when I've gone to some of the opera ballet productions, the Royal Ballet or the Met things, hardly anybody goes. And I think, I hope that never happens with theater. I hope there's always an interest to, go into the theater and be a part of it, because it's unlike anything. I mean, when you're on the stage, trusting all of these people you're there with, and you have to put your trust in your fellow actors and the director and everyone else, but you're there in front of 1,000 people or something. It's unlike any high you will ever get in life. It just something happens,
Yeah.
and the sound of applause coming across the footlights because of something you and a group of people did is the kind of satisfaction, and it makes you just feel so full as a person.
Yeah.
And it's amazing.
I think
So-
that sense of belonging is just that's really, we talk about that all the time, that we talk about the kids like having their RB family, and it really is like they're sometimes these students are really quirky and they're trying to figure themselves out, and they find like-minded friends and role models. That's really important to us too, that we have the young ones kind of mentored by the
Yes.
older ones, and that's how that theater tradition continues. When you can see, these big kids get to put on the big production, and so they want to follow that.
Yes.
Which is really great to see.
It is wonderful. Clint, what keeps you filled with almost a childlike delight with theater after all of these years of doing it? What continues to bring that joy to you?
Most importantly, it's still fun.
Mm-hmm.
Because if it wasn't fun, I would not be doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, each year always brings new opportunities and new challenges, but I'm always a forward thinker. So besides hiring the right people, some people who keep coming back,
Yes.
and keep coming back, which we love, but also the opportunities to do new shows, create new traditions, and I'm always, in my profession, besides what I do during the year of teaching, I also run sound for RB, and just always learning new things, new tricks, that's what keeps the edge going. And then, when I'm, building up our company continually, and the day comes where I retire and say goodbye, I want to be able to hand over the reins to an already successful. That's the way my parents taught me, and that's the way I want to leave things as a legacy for the community and for people who are going to be the next generation of theater goers. So Ellen was talking about role models.
Yes.
I try to be the best role model I can be, both in my day job and my summer job as well. So, yeah.
That's wonderful. That's
Success.
great to hear. Ellen, does it still excite you? I mean, just
yeah.
when you sit there and after you've directed everyone and put everything together and sit there, can you just revel in the actual show?
For the most part.
Pretty much,
For
yeah.
the most part. So I have this tradition. I'm not going to spoil it because it's a secret
Okay.
tradition, but we do have a backstage, getting ready tradition that I will lead students through, and that's kind of my release for them, and I leave the show in their hands, and then I luckily can get to go up to the balcony and kind of watch from there. And I do take notes. I was raised to take notes, always, always, always.
Of
So
course.
I always, even closing night, will have notes for students if I think that it can better their craft. Then of
Yes.
course I'll deliver those. But yeah, for the most part, I can kind of sit back and relax at that point and just kind of trust the process. That's the fun part about it. And I think the longer I do this, the more I know, even though going in Monday morning feeling a lot of anxiety, good anxiety, butterflies, but can we get this done in 5 days? It always comes together. It always comes together. But there are definitely some moments during the week, when we're up late lighting or we're like, wow, we're really behind schedule on this choreography or whatever, that panic starts to set in. But I try to keep that kind of from the kids and work through it with them too, and say like, all right, we are behind schedule, like we need to pivot. How can we learn to do that? Because that's real life. When you're performing on Broadway or if you're doing 8 shows a week, you need to be able to keep a schedule and stay on track. And if you aren't staying on track, then you gotta figure out how you're going to compensate in some way. So all good skills for them to learn and see us work through.
Oh, great. Are you ever amazed at the level of talent that comes to?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, we have students who are training privately. We have students who just have a ton of natural talent. That we really try to bring out. So yeah, it's pretty remarkable. I don't understand how Concord has had so much talent for so long, but I do credit a lot of our area too. I would say I do credit just the number of companies, the number of music schools, dance studios,
schools,
school programs that are fantastic, and
Yes.
we are really lucky to live in a state that is so supportive of the arts.
It is. It truly is.
For such a small state, I think, per capita, we're doing pretty well with the arts. So.
Well, some of that, like Jen Alosa's dance school, or Jen Woodward, has been around over 50 years. We went to school together, and she started it as soon as we graduated from Brady. She started her dance school, and she's been doing it ever since. And she has created so many, as has Cindy Flanagan, among others. Just the level of talent, because it's not just like it was for some people. When I was a child, people that went to dance school, it was just something to do after school, or nothing as serious as it then started to become in the 70s and then beyond, where people really didn't just let you get away with sort of doing sloppy steps when they knew you could do more than that.
Right.
And that kind of encouragement and everything else was really a wonderful part of the community.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think it's great.
Now you said you make the selections in January, or that's when you announce?
That's when we register.
Oh, register people.
Yeah, the
okay.
board usually we usually have a fall retreat in the early fall.
Oh, okay.
And after that, we kind of look at the survey, discuss what we'd like to do, look at the results, and figure out how that season might look, who the directors might be. Then we have to figure out the schedule of, all right, these weeks, this week, this week, this week, and
Yes.
so on. And then once that's done, we always announce it, usually November, December, so people can plan accordingly. And then usually the first Saturday in January, we launch the registration process. And then people
That's it.
refresh until they get in. Or, and to be brutally honest, in some cases, we could have run another show this summer. We had waitlists.
For a little
Really?
We could have run a second.
We had about 40 total people on a wait list, which is amazing. This is
Truly amazing.
It's remarkable.
Are there ever shows that people want you to do, but you can't do them? They're not, for instance, technically feasible, or?
Well, the most common, because we kind of give a list of shows to choose from, and we do add like other, and they'll put in titles of shows that we can't do because they're not available.
Yeah, licensing.
That's probably the most common
Yeah.
kind of. But no, I think sometimes we love the challenge. And I think as we look to our future and as we kind of announce our big news, I just think there's going to be a lot of opportunities to continue the growth of our company, but also spread the wealth of what types of shows that we're able to do.
Diversity in terms of production. Yeah, absolutely. I think we should do Phantom of the Opera Jr. I'm waiting for that. That might be when Mr.
Who
Klose
knows?
retires. Maybe we do a
Yes.
Get my mask. No.
Yes. Yes.
favorite.
Now, I know sometimes you do a show again because it's popular and well received. What is the show that's been done the most?
Annie
Really?
Jr.
Yes.
Well, just a quick story. Before we came to the Capitol Center, we were at Beaver Meadow School, the non-air conditioned Beaver Meadow School.
And he's getting an HVAC renovation
Yep.
this summer.
Wow.
I just remember the last year we did Annie at Beaver Meadow. I just remember, I believe the temperature during the day was probably 98. And so it was probably 104 or 105. And I
Under
just
the
remember
lights.
opening the doors and just watching person after person after person after person, and it is just sweltering. But it's, again, it's one of the, and you saw people fanning while going on, but you could hear a pin drop during the show.
Yes.
Just
Yeah.
because of the
There
the
is something
draw.
about that show that the players have done it twice, I know. And I said to Alwyn, when are you going to direct it for the third time? She gave me a look that even my mother has never given me.
Yeah.
But it just, for some reason, the same with The Sound of Music when the players did that last year.
Yeah.
That's certainly. Have you done The
that
Sound of
show.
Music?
We did. There's no kids version.
Yeah.
Well, there is a kids version, but we have not done it.
Uh-huh.
But when we went from Beaver Meadow to the Capitol Center, our first main stage show was Grease,
Oh.
followed by Annie.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was either 2006 and 2007, if I remember. And then Sound of Music was 2008.
Ah.
And I just remember that the opening number where I think what we ended up doing is we surrounded the audience with all of our nuns.
Oh.
And it became this,
Yes.
with no lights on. And it just became this Gothic cathedral, like, you'd hear the opening Mother Abbess, and then you just saw people just go. And it was just one of those magical theater moments. That's what I love.
And the audience felt a part of the production.
And then the stained glass window came up, and then the Mother. And so it was just really one of those. And I've been fortunate. I consider myself the luckiest person in Concord, just because I get to work with just amazing people year round. And those are the kind of memories, because my dad, when he was alive, was always about families. You need to make memories.
Yes.
And so that's what I
And the
try to
theater
bring to the
family
country.
is so close to your real family in so many ways because of what you experience, the ups and downs and the trepidation and the fears and the nerves and the ultimate success and satisfaction. And I think theater people tend to really applaud someone else's success. In real life, people aren't always that kind of unselfish way. They're a little petty or resentful if somebody is successful or has done something they have not been able to achieve. But in the theater, overall, the cast, the crew, they tend to truly want each person to be their best, and when they are, they're thrilled to be a part of that.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot, right? That, yeah, there are no small parts, only small actors.
Exactly, absolutely.
And I mean, that's something I learned as a kid from my director, and it's important that that gets passed on. It truly, I mean, everything we do is very ensemble based, and it does require every single person. So we talk about that a lot. That it is like a team,
Yes.
sport or something, that you need every position, you need every player. We also do have a lot of family members as well. We're talking a little bit about family, but we do have a lot of siblings that end up at RB for the summer.
Nice.
I think that it's just kind of contagious, and you see a big brother or sister or sibling up, on stage, and they're like, "Oh, I want to do that" in a couple of years. So that happens.
It has been a joy having both of you here. Thank you.
Thank you.
Clint Klose, Ellen Desmond. And I want everyone to check out RB Productions, please. Go to at least one, go to all of them. I mean, but once you go, you're going to be hooked, and you're going to realize the brilliance of these productions and what a joy they are in the summertime to look forward to, right here in Concord, New Hampshire. So thank you both. I'll see you at the theater.
Thank you.
And I want to thank everyone for your emails and comments about the show. And thank you very much. I love doing it. Thank you to Matt, who is my right-hand man. I couldn't do it without you, Matt. And thank you to ConcordTV, who will be marking 25 years this year. So until the next time, this is Paul Brogan, your host for Capital Area Chats. Thank you.